35. And I said, how about 75? And he was like, all right, 50 is cool. And I was like, all right. And so just as a side note, when someone says, hey, can you do it for less? You can always say, hey, I can do it for more. And every single time I've used that overcome, it has worked. So right now it's like 100% overcome for using that. Highly recommend using it in a sales situation because people are like, okay, I got it, understood. Like, that's your price. So that was first half of story number 2 with the consulting guy. So when I did that day, what I did was I started the morning, I think we were gonna start meeting at 9. And so I woke up at 5 and I spent 4 hours reviewing his business, right? Because I figured my day was gonna be shot. This is gonna be my day. Like, I'm not gonna try and do anything else. And so I spent the 4 hours prepping, and I came into the day with, I think, 4 or 5 pages of notes of like, okay, here are things we could do here that would be better. Here's things on your follow-up sequence. Here's things on your landing pages. Here are things that you can do from a content. Here's how I think your CTAs could be better. All of this stuff, right? And so I came in with it, and the next like 4 hours, I just spent showing him what I had spent the morning going over. And at the end of the day, he was like, I have genuinely never had anyone come this prepared to something. And to me, I was like, it was 4 hours of prep. It wasn't like a crazy, you know what I mean? To me, 4 hours of prep is nothing, you know what I mean, in terms of work. But it was really confirming because this guy obviously had the money to spend 50 grand for a day or whatever. And that he had not had that type. I was like, it still bewilders me. And I see that more so that it is remarkable how low the bar is to beat everyone else. And so that's what I take as my takeaway from that. Like on one hand, you've got Eric and some of these super creators who are spending thousands of hours on one single piece of content. But I think if you like do consulting or you do some sort of work where you do the same thing over and over again, like you can have like a 4-to-1 ratio. If I go into a meeting and it's a 60-minute meeting, you can take 15 minutes before you get into the meeting. And I think like a 4-to-1 ratio is really, or 1-to-4 ratio. Like if it's a 8-hour day, spending 2 hours. If it's a 60-minute meeting, spending 15 minutes. If it's a 20-minute meeting, spending 5 minutes before you get on, will make the 20 minutes 2-3 times more effective by just having that little bit of block to say, who's on this meeting? What's the background of this? What's the agenda? What problem are we trying to solve? It just absolutely focuses you and makes you a driver in the meeting. I can just absolutely like promise you that. Now, third one, when we have founders who come into the portfolio, so when we invest in a company, one of the things that happens most commonly is a lot of them are running paid ads or they start running paid ads. So it's either way. So either they're running ads and they hit some sort of plateau or they want to get into running ads. And so I'll tell you the story that I explained to almost all of them, which is I say, all right, how many, what do you guys spending today? And they're like, all right, we're spending 5,000 a day. Okay, fine. So how many new ads are you making per week? And a lot of time they're like, oh, we